Well, welcome back to the show. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the About Redlands radio show where we're talking about all things Redlands, California. And up with me right now, I have a very special guest, Toni Momberger. She is the previous editor of the Redlands Daily Facts. Or I guess was the previous editor of the Redlands Daily Facts. And she is the current co-owner of a new business called Shoulder to Shoulder Communications. Welcome to the show, Toni.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, so I already had a grammar hiccup. So Toni Momberger was is the
I am the previous editor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have to share with everybody. On Facebook, you post your grammar, what you call grammar crack. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Toni is like a wordsmith. And so every time I talk to her, I'm always trying to, anyway, I don't even try to talk proper because it's just not going to work anyway. But anyway, okay. So you're going to be sharing with us how journalism is changing and what these changes and the acquisition of the Riverside Press Enterprise mean for the people of Redlands. So that's pretty exciting stuff. And the last time you were on the show, we talked about what you were doing with your communications business. So, but for right now, for those that didn't catch any of that, I want to back up. And so tell us, why did you leave the Redlands Daily Facts?
I'm really excited to have the opportunity to clarify before I get into that, why I didn't, what is not the reason. I'm hearing a lot of people think that I left because of the acquisition of the Press Enterprise, and they're saying, oh, it became corporate, and so she left or was pushed out, and that is absolutely not what happened. I was from the Press Enterprise, and I mean the employees at the Press Enterprise are my just best and favorite friends, and so I was excited at the possibility of working with them, and that was just absolutely not why I left. But it was, I will say, a factor in when I left, only insofar as the Los Angeles newspaper group, as it was called before we bought, and I'm saying we, but I'm going to keep saying we, but I don't want to anymore.
Right.
Was at a skeletal staff, right? We had very few people who were doing a lot, and that is why the paper group, that's why they were doing so well, and that's why they were doing so well. And all of the other newspaper groups were dying and closing and going bankrupt, and they were needing, and that's why we could buy them, right? It was a smart way to go.
Right.
But the Press Enterprise was not in that situation, and I'm sure they didn't look at it this way, but we looked at them and said, wow, look at all those reporters and editors and photographers that they have, right? So when we acquired them, the staff of the inland papers in particularly, because we had overlap, right, with San Bernardino and Redlands and Highland, Mentone, all of that gets covered by the press as well as Riverside County. And we kind of were really eager to hear how the resources were going to be divided up, right? How these teams were going to be merged. So I was really aware that the executive editorship was figuring out how to allocate all of these resources, how to make the pieces of this puzzle go. And and I'm sitting there knowing that I'm planning to quit, right? I know that my days are numbered as the editor of the Facts. And it just seems to me that figuring out what you're going to do with all your parts and then having an editor of one of the 11 papers leave would be rude. And they treated me so well. There was so much respect and support given to me from this company that I wanted to give them this information before they came. I just felt like that was the respectful time to let them know that I was planning to leave. So there were pretty much three. So now let's get to why did I know I was going to quit?
Yeah.
One of them was that I really let, and I'm accountable for this, but I really let that job take every minute of my life. I was never not working. And I mean, as the editor, you know, you want to if there's an emergency, if there's breaking news, you want people to be able to reach you. And if there's a big community event, it's good to be present. But I got myself into a position where people expected me to attend their things, right?
Oh,
we're having a meeting.
Lord. Wow. Yeah.
The president of my club, we're having a tea, we're having a brunch, we're having... And, you know, when they have these things is on weeknights or weekends.
Right.
So I would work a full day getting the paper together and then guiding, you know, my team or writing the editorials or doing whatever I'm doing there. And that's a long day. And then I'm going from there to evening events, to ribbon cuttings, and to things. And then Saturdays were really bad. You know, I'd get up early and do one thing, and I'd leave there and rush to the next thing and the next. And get up Sunday and do it again. And at one point, I didn't go to a tea. It was a big annual tea. I don't like teas. And I didn't want to go, and I didn't go. And, I mean, I heard about it. You would be surprised. I'm just, but the point is, I didn't feel like it was okay to just be in my house, and I wanted to be in my house. So that was kind of weighing on me. The second thing was the state of journalism right now, right? I don't think people are kind of aware of it because they're consuming news, but I don't think they fully understand. Like, you go into a profession, you train for it, you learn it, you get experience at it, and as time goes by, you're respected for being the guy who's been doing it a long time and who knows how it works, right? That's the way, like, you kind of, that's the plan that you're supposed to be able to expect. But journalism is just changing so fast, and there's kind of a pressure to innovate, right? And I wanted to innovate. You know, you're kind of be told, well, try something new and fail fast and try the next thing. And some things that people think of in journalism work, right? BuzzFeed came up with kind of the listicle version of journalism. And that was a huge success, right? How often do you scroll through Facebook and see, five things to, 5 great places to view the Redlands Bicycle Classic, or 7
right. Yeah.
At food vendors at the Orange Show. Those things are a great way to tell a story now, and those have resonated. There's so many things. There's interactive timelines, there's story maps, there's using video, there's making a, narrative with social media posts that you compile, and it's changing really fast, and it's stressful, right? I've been in this business for 27 years, and I would go to sleep at night thinking, I've got to relearn or reinvent my own job, right? And
Okay. So when you're talking about that kind of changing, so the rate of change, exactly what are you talking about? What kind of?
It's so fast. Like the first year, I would say 2011, within that year, there were changes that were so fast in my job that I'd already been in for 20 plus years, right? I mean, it's happening fast. It's happening fast. And there's this bizarre incongruence between what people say they want and what people are demonstrating that they want, right? Although I concede that it's two different groups of people, and I'm just around one. But people will tell you, they're dying to tell me, I want to hold my paper in my hand, right? They're like trying to preemptively prevent their newspaper from going digital. But if you look at the readership, it's so fast increasing the percentage of who's reading it digitally. I mean, it's like, I don't have different numbers. Obviously, I've been out of there for a while, but we looked at the numbers, and it was like 50% on some days of our readership came from social media referrals. Your clicks into this, and people reading us online, that's where they're
that's where people are getting information. Well, it doesn't really affect a little community paper like the Redlands Daily Facts that much, right? Or are you saying it
does? Where was I? I think I was at the Retired Teachers Association giving a talk, and they were saying, hey, right, and again, the demographic, right, they're retired, they're used to the old way. And let me tell you, journalists would rather just, and that's not universally true, But it was easier on us to put out a paper once a day, to have a deadline late at night and be able to get the information and discuss it and craft it and have your doubts and confirm things. And then late at night, you send it to the press, right? That was a luxury that we, those old folks like me hated to lose, because now you have to keep updating that story and keep it fresh immediately, right? There's an urge, and it never goes away.
It never goes away. Well, I am experiencing that even with the About Redlands site. Oh my gosh, you have to keep ahead of the game. I mean, we're talking, and you got to be on it. I mean, everywhere. It just has changed. So let me ask you though, so these changes, the acquisition of the Redlands, not Redlands, but the Riverside Press Enterprise, what does it mean for the people of Redlands then?
Oh gosh. So there's good news and bad news.
Okay. Because we have about a minute, so let's
I'm going to go really fast then. The good news is these are really talented people. They are good people, and you're going to get the opportunity in the Redlands paper to get a diversity of reporter strengths and editor strengths. That, there was a time when I had one reporter and you were just going to get what I could do and what she could do. So you're going to get, but on the bad side, you're not going to get like in the 90s where the Sun Center reporter, the Press Center reporter, and the Fact Center reporter, and we're all going to try to give you the best coverage, right, of any of the three. Now they kind of have the luxury to say, gosh, there's something bigger happening in another town, so let's send our resources there and just pre-write a paragraph and send a photographer to the Redlands thing, right? There's kind of, so in that way, Redlands readers suffer, but again, there's going to be give and take, because you're getting, without having to buy a separate newspaper, you're getting the best of what is offered in terms of broader coverage, right? Big investigative stories or enterprise stories about the Inland Empire, about the housing market or the air quality that you wouldn't have gotten with just, a small staff at the Facts of community reporters. So there's give and take, but I believe the company's really being smart about the way it's doing it. Okay.
Well, that's encouraging. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Next time you're going to have to join us because we've come to the end here about your new business,